Well guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be changing the brakes on this 2017 Chevy 1500. This got a 6.2 in it and the brakes are squeaking. So I went and got new brakes, new rotors today at O'Reilly's, and I'm going to be changing the brakes. So I'll bring you guys along and show you guys how to do it, or how I do it. I'm going to be going over the tools that I'm going to be using to change the brakes on my Chevy 1500. I'm actually shooting this video after, or this part after I change the brakes to make sure I have everything here. So the first thing you're gonna need is a jack, obviously to lift your truck off the ground far enough to where you can take the tires off. Second of all, you're gonna need C-clamps, 2 of them, and then you're gonna need a ratchet, you're gonna need a socket, 18mm socket, and a 13mm socket, and then a crescent wrench, a wire brush. I have another ratchet. You're gonna need extension. If you have wide tires, you'll need an extension to take your lug nuts off. And then here's another socket for my lug nuts, which I have to have the long ones, and I have the spike lug nuts. And then you're also gonna need a torque wrench. I have this one from Craftsman. They make a lot of different ones to torque the tires when you're done. Then I also like a bigger impact to take my lug nuts off, and you can use that for some other stuff when you're taking the brakes loose and stuff like that. Also need some brake cleaner and some shop towels, which I don't have here. That's what you need to get started. That's actually all you need. So let's get started. So first thing you gotta have is a jack. Now we're ready to take tires off. Okay, now that we got the tires taken off, all the tires, we're gonna go inside the truck, and this is how I always do this. You gotta turn it on so the pump runs for the steering, and I'm gonna turn my tire all the way to the right because I'm gonna be working on the driver's side. Turn it off again. So now that we've done that and turned it all the way to the right, we can take the caliper off and then take the rotor off. And the reason I like turning them all the way to the right is because it's easy to get to the bolts on the back side here to take them loose. So now that I got my 19mm, these bolts right here to hold the caliper on are 19mm. So we're going to take those 2 loose. I already popped the top one loose. You guys put that one. Now we're going to grab the bottom one. Keeping that anti-seize on there helps. When they come out real nice. Some people might say they come out too easy and could come out going down the road, but I've never had any trouble with them. Okay, now that we took the caliper loose, we're just gonna grab it, shake it a little bit, work its way off, and then what I do is I set it right on top of here. I'm gonna show you guys. Right here, I hook that part, this right here, right into that spring. Now it stays right there. It's not gonna fall down. I don't have to worry about it. Okay, now I got my 19mm socket, and these 2 bolts here we're going to take out. This holds the bracket, I think it's called the bracket, that the caliper mounts to, that goes over and holds the brakes. I'm going to pop these guys loose, and these are always tough ones. Okay, got anti-seize on those 2. Now we just grab this sucker, pull it right off. What I'm going to do is take these to O'Reilly's, get them resurfaced. At O'Reilly's, you can get them resurfaced for 25 bucks. Or at least that's what I can do here in Indiana. And what I'll do is I'll keep these as spare set because they're perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with them. And I can use those next time I want to change my brakes. So that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, so now that we got the bracket off, we're going to take these brakes out. By that, I'm just going to squeeze them together and just kind of beat them until they fall out. They're kind of tough sometimes. Ouch. That kind of hurt. That one fell right out. And then you're just going to pull these, I don't know what they call them. They call them an appliance on the box, but I think they're just the brackets to hold it. You want to make sure when you buy new brakes that you get those. I just change them out every time. Okay. Now what I like to do is go in here, brush this out just to make sure it's nice and clean when I go to put the new one in. Man, I must have stabbed myself pretty good. One thing you want to double check is make sure these move in and out. These are the little cylinders in there. If they don't, you have to buy new ones and reset them. They feel good. We're done here. Okay, now that we got the rotor to this side, I'm gonna set it on top of this box so I don't scratch the rotor. The guy at O'Reilly said I need to use brake cleaner and wipe it down to get all the oil off the brand new rotor. Goodness. Well, that can's junk.
Oh.
Hey, do we have any brake cleaner out here in the shop?
Well, I thought I had a whole case of it in that
Cabinet?
cabinet. Yeah.
Oh, I was just looking for cans. I didn't see a case.
But listen, I am coming up on 31. We actually me and Mom ran into town.
Oh, okay.
To grab an ice for our oldest son for tomorrow night or Sunday night or whatever it is.
A what?
And an ice cream cake.
Oh.
Anyway, we're on our way home and we're almost by Ramco. How about I just swing in there?
We're about
he
21.
stocks them by the case. I'll just grab a case of brake cleaner and bring it home for you.
That'd be great. Okay. We found some brake cleaner. So we're gonna spray this down real good. Start cleaning this oil off of this rotor. There, sits right in there, perfect. Beautiful. Okay, now just leave that sit there for now. Grab the new brakes. On these brakes, you'll have one side has like a flat bottom and the other side, I hope you guys can see this. One brake is gonna have, for a 1500 like this, I'm not sure how it is on other models, but it's gonna have a flat bottom like this. The other one's gonna have a curve in it, and I'll show you why. So if you look on your bracket, one side has an arch on it and the other side is flat. So what you're gonna do is the one with the arch is gonna go on the side with the arch, and the one with the flat spot is going on the flat side, if that makes sense. Set them suckers right in there. You wanna make sure the little tongs go right in the back of your mount here. So you're gonna set that sucker right in there. Make sure that sits right in there real nice on both sides. Perfect. Now make sure to do the other side. If I left anything out in this video, let me know in the comments and I'll make another video. It might be a year from now until these brakes wear out or more, but okay. Now you're gonna put the flat side on the flat side of the bracket, and what you do, I always set mine down in, bring it up, set it into the top, and push down till it snaps in. And I just kind of bump it. And sometimes you just got to work it until it goes in. Sometimes you got to offset it a little bit for it to work. Okay, perfect. Now we got it set in there nice. Now we'll do the other side. Make sure it's the one with the arch. The side of the has the arch. Set it right in there. Make sure they come on flat. Now you got your new brakes set. Okay. Now you just come over here and do in reverse what we did earlier. So, quick tip here. I got this ratchet. My grandpa actually is the one who told me about it. And pretty much what you can do is you can pull this down and extend it for more leverage, or you can shorten it. I love it. It's a 1/2 inch. I don't even know what this name is. It's Pittsburgh or something. Anyway, works great. They make them all different. I'm pretty sure they make them in a couple different brands because my grandpa's was a different one. But you can extend it and shorten it. There we go. Works great. Just like that, where it's nice and tight. Okay, now what we got to do is the hard part. I gotta go get a battery. So now that we got the bracket put on, we're gonna take the caliper, and it's not gonna fit because obviously the brakes wore down. So what I do, I got a little trick. Let me go grab my tools. Okay, so I got C-clamps, and the reason I use C-clamps, if you watch on this caliper, So the reason I use 2 C-clamps is because this caliper has 2 cylinders. That's what these 2 are here. And when I tighten in one, the other one comes out. So you have to put 1 C-clamp here and 1 C-clamp here. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Now I think you can see there, the cylinders are pushed back. It's gonna fit right on here, just perfect. Took me a while to learn that one. Okay, you're all done on this side. You do the same thing on the passenger side, but we're gonna jump back to the rear brakes because those are a little different. And now you gotta throw the tire on and we'll do that later. Okay, let's get the rear brakes changed in this truck. First thing you're gonna need is a 13mm wrench or socket. And we're gonna pop this thing loose. So, bringing you guys over here to see what's going on. You wanna leave this bolt on the top here, in here. And the reason why is when you go to take the bottom one loose, what happens is when you're trying to push down, it'll wanna pop out. So, leave that one just in there, doesn't have to be tight. And then pop it loose. Get that bad boy out of there. Okay, so now that we got both of those bolts out, we're gonna pull this caliper off. We're gonna set that aside. Leave that up there. And now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these 2 bolts off the back here. I'll show you guys. Right here are 2 bolts, one here and one down here. Got to pop them suckers loose and get them off of there. That way you can get your bracket off that holds the brakes. And by the way, those bolts are 18mm, just like the front ones. Now that we got both those out, we'll take the brakes out just like we did with the front ones. Get the little aluminum pieces out of there, little brackets. Okay, now get your wire brush, get them suckers cleaned out good. Now we got them cleaned out. We'll grab our brakes and our brackets. Put the brackets in first. And by the way, it gets confusing, but the way the brackets go in, I'm gonna pull one out here. These little flanges are on the back here that stick out. That goes in between here, okay? And it sticks right in there, and it sits right in there, just like that. You see that? Fits perfect, normally. Sometimes, if you got an older vehicle that's a little rusty, or a little dirty, it can go pretty hard. I've done it before. Okay, now, the way I know which brake pad goes on both sides, so like the others I had an arch. This one does not have an arch on the bottom. The way I know, the back brakes, let me get my camera pointed up here. The back caliper has 1 cylinder. So that cylinder is gonna push on this spot right here. The other brake pad is gonna have these 3 spots here. I don't know what they're called, I don't know why they're there, but I do know you don't want your cylinder pushing against that. It's not gonna be good for stuff. It's probably gonna end up squeaking in the long term. So you wanna put your brake pad, your cylinder is gonna be sitting on this side, or your caliper is, and so you wanna put the one with the flat surface towards that side. You gotta work it in there. Bang. And you gotta put the other one with the 4 dots on that side. Put it on right here. And I think they're like little bolts or pins or something, but I call them dots. Okay, now put this thing right back on the way we took it off. So we're gonna use brake cleaner in this one too. Reason for that is, I don't know if you guys can see, pretty dirty around this edge here. Now that we have our caliper, you only have 1 cylinder on this, like I said earlier. And all you gotta do is have 1 U-clamp, get that sucker put on there. I know I'm almost at the end of my video and I'm almost done with this brake. But if you guys have liked the video so far, subscribe, like it, And leave a comment down below on what you think so far, and if you have any advice for me or anything you've learned. So it would help me out greatly. Now, all we got to do, I'll bring you guys back around, is take your little bolts, put them right in, get that caliper on. Now, when you're snugging this down, you need your 13mm and crescent wrench. So, get that sucker tightened down. I believe we're all done on this guy here. Nice and tight, ready to roll. Got that caliper all cleaned off, got the oil all off of that. Okay, I'm gonna go around, check each brake, make sure everything's working. Let's go try this. So what I'm gonna do is just push the brake all the way in, and obviously it's gonna go all the way to the floor. Let out, push all the way in again. Now it gets in tight. Push it again, nice and tight. Perfect. Okay, checked everything. I think everything's working. Let's throw these tires back on. Okay, the next step is the torque. Now, I have this Craftsman torque wrench. I'm gonna turn it on here. I set mine to about I think you're supposed to set it at 145 foot-pounds of torque, but I have mine at 148. I do have a extension on which takes away from some of it, but I have mine set to 148.6 foot-pounds of torque. So we're gonna torque these tires. Okay, we got them all torqued. Truck's all ready to go. We're gonna run it on test drive. That's the next step. And then I gotta clean up my mess after I run it on test. So hopefully this video is helpful. Subscribe if you liked it. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought, and if you have any suggestions or anything like I said earlier. And thanks for watching.